Okay, y'all. Okay, we're back here because today we're gonna talk about the discipline and how we can work on our discipline. So this is gonna be like disclaimer right here. This is my perspective. This is my the way I think, the way it works for me. I just want to say that this way might not work for everybody, but this is just to give you an idea on how you can actually start doing your discipline from today. So this is something that you have to start doing without thinking, because the more you think about it, as I say in my last video, if you haven't watched that, go ahead and watch that one, because it's going to be kind of like following to what we're talking from there. As I say in my last video, is everything about like starting without thinking. The more you think about it, it's going to be worse and you're never going to give the first step. So today in this video, I'm going to give you 3 tips that this is going to help you to actually improve your discipline and just to make you start doing things the way you want and the way you wish they develop.
2,000 years later.
The first thing that you guys have to do, know your strengths and your weaknesses. Weaknesses are addictions or anything that you're attached right now and that it's hard for you to get rid of it. You have to actually write on a paper what are your weaknesses. Like, oh, well, I'm addicted to caffeine. I'm addicted to anything that's sweet. Like, I cannot control my anxiety for this and that. It's everything that you don't have control, that you're not aware of. And we're gonna fight this first problem that we're presented, the weakness, your like strengths. One of them that we have to develop now is the self-awareness. This self-awareness is gonna help you to actually just have self-control in yourself. Whenever you actually you are aware of something, you are like, oh well, you know what? Like, I have something like I don't like. Maybe if I try to change it or I try to stop doing it, maybe that can improve. I know the way I talk, it sounds easy, but it's hard to leave it sometimes. But if you don't start taking care of yourselves, then who is going to be? This is going to be your challenge. I want you to do a list, and every day you're going to add something. It doesn't matter if you have 2, 3 things one day and the next day you don't have an idea. Try just to think about that carefully. The more you know yourself, this is going to help you know more about the discipline that you want to get used to and the routine that you want to attach your life to. Second one is that we are going to remove all type of temptations. As we talked in my previous video, everything that can help you to fight temptation is motivation. We're not going to use motivation as the key to actually develop or discipline. That's not, no. We have to start doing things to develop the discipline. But motivation is going to help you to fight those temptations, those moments where you're thinking like, oh man, I want to eat a pizza like with some pineapples on it. Like, This is the second challenge that I'm going to add to your list. Write down what is your purpose, why you want to change your life. Example, you want to do it for healing, to grow, to surpass your limits, that you want to know yourself more. That's a very big one right there, because you want to become rich. Later on, you can start working on actually details about that. Set clear goals. I want you to have a clear vision of what you're doing and what you want to accomplish by the end of a week, a month, a year. You have to think about that, okay? Where do you see yourself in 5 years? That's a very hard question. I know you might hear that question before, but that's a question that actually helped me and helped me develop this feeling of hell. Like, if I don't change something right now, then I don't see myself in 5 years in this position, financially freedom or things like that, Another question that you have to ask yourself is, what does success means to you? Success for me is actually whenever I feel accomplished at the end of every day. Maybe it's a different type of success for you because, I want to live my life every single day, like living for every day, because you never know when is your last day, Enjoying these times right now, those moments at the right moment are very meaningful and special, to me at least. But maybe for you, success mean other stuff. Success mean, well, if I actually finish like all these in like a week, that will be a success for the entire year, for the entire month. Now, remember to prioritize and keep track of what you have done and what you're doing. This is a very important step. I've been keeping track of how I lost weight during these like 6-7 months that I've been working on myself. And it's really helpful to just keep a track on like, well, today, I feel this way. You can journal everything if you want, or you can take pictures. I usually prefer to take pictures because I think it's a way more easy to see the results through image. This is a third challenge I want to add to you, and please keep focusing because this is going to get really interesting. I want you to write down your main goal and understand that anything out of that is just a small step. Everything that you're being adding to it is a small step that you're doing right now just to improve later on. See this as a passive income to yourself. And write down at least to prioritize your work, relationships, and hobbies. I remember that when I was kind of lost a few months ago before getting into a relationship, I just started thinking about like, hey, well, let's sit a little bit and let's start prioritizing. If you don't organize yourself, then how are you going to actually give time to all these things that you have going on? Then you're going to get a mess and you're going to be like, I don't have time to do this and that. I want you to sit down and just write down. Like, well, for me, for example, I did a list. My list was, first at the first step, it has to be yourself. But after you, it has to be a school, family, work, friends, relationship, networking, anything else that's under that. You have to prioritize it and organize it in a best way. Now, I do want to add another few things, that 2 more steps that will help you out. You have to start thinking on, hey, well, if I don't do it, then that's not gonna work. I read a quote on Instagram once. I don't know who posted, but I was just scrolling and I saw it on Instagram. It says that we were not born with discipline. We have to work for that. That's something that we have to activate, right? So if we start doing something every single day, that becomes a discipline because we get used to that, and also becomes a routine. I want to give a few examples because this is like repetition. First example, I want to give you the water. For me, I have to drink every single day water, 4 bottles of waters, like the big ones. I have to drink it, and I just feel like that way I'm doing like a repetition of something that becomes a discipline. Another example is doing my bed every single morning. I started doing this probably like for a month ago. Before, I used to pay too much attention to that, but now I do. So now I want to do my bed every single morning just to feel accomplished at the end of the day. Another example would be watching the news. So I like to invest my money in the stock markets, ETF, dividends, and all those index funds are out there, and our individual stocks as well. What's happening and how that is going to impact the growth of my money. If you feel like starting investing, I'm going to leave the link below down there. You can get a Robinhood stock between $10 to $200. It's a very good, they're not promoting me or anything. Down there you can click and it's completely free to sign up. You don't need to pay anything to start with. Make one change every day. That will be every single day I'm making one change. When I'm talking to a friend, like we talk most of the time, and he's like, how's your day going? I'm like, well, it's going normal, it's going simple, as usual, doing this and that. But I usually add something different at that day. Maybe it's the food that I'm eating, maybe it's to who I'm talking, maybe the videos I'm watching on YouTube to grow. I usually pray every single night. Or example, skincare routine. Also, if you guys want to download the list that I have to just help you and guide you through your day, through your week, through your month, make sure to sign with your email down there, and I can just send you right away through email my list, so this will be helpful for you as well. But if you start doing something like constantly, eventually it's gonna become part of yourself. You don't even gonna think before doing it. But the key is to keep going, just keep pushing. You don't need to actually stop and think about that. Just keep going. Find the root cause. So if you feel like there is something wrong, as I said, you can write down, you can take pictures, you can do a lot of things to find out what is the problem, the main cause of everything. Don't let yourself get wrapped up in guilt, anger, stress, all those negative feelings that are not helping you to improve. I just hope that you keep that in mind, that you improve eventually, and that these tips can help you out to develop your discipline. I'm going to be talking about this later more in deep, but I do want to get us to start doing these things and these challenges. I'm going to put everything down there in the description box, and I hope you guys have a wonderful rest of your night, and don't forget to subscribe and click that like button. Bye.